What's going on, guys? It's here. A fight we've been waiting 2 years for, about, give or take. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. No belt on the line. It's going to be March the 25th on Showtime pay-per-view. And we got a lot to talk about. For one, what's going on with Showtime and Paramount. Now, if you haven't seen or read, there's been a lot of articles circulating about potential layoffs and cuts to Showtime content because they're integrating the Paramount Plus and Showtime into one platform, which it should have been in the first place. So the question is, will boxing, whose ratings have been declining, and not just because of people watching on streaming apps, it's just overall, these ratings are just down. It takes too long for marquee fights to happen, and fighters are not active enough to really build up their names. The sport is just oversaturated. Too many broadcasters. Fighters can't fight this fighter because they're with this promoter or this manager or this advisor or this advisor or this network. And when at the end of the day, Showtime as a network, does boxing bring in subscribers? It is said that HBO got out of boxing because the boxing wasn't bringing in enough subscribers. And yet, from a network as a whole, they put all that extra money into the last 2 bullshit Game of Thrones seasons. So if you notice, Showtime seems pretty aggressive this year in having their guys fight. The well is dried up, according to Bernard Hopkins in an interview he did with Fight Hub. This should be a good press conference, though. It's going to be starting soon with David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. Some real genuine bad blood there. But also, Caleb Plant is a pretty sassy dude. You notice that? However, I do expect this pay-per-view to be entertaining. I'm not sure how well it's going to do on pay-per-view. The classic matchup between the Hispanic Mexican fighter and the black fighter. But I'm not sure what the overall... Now, Caleb Plant has some buzz behind him. He does. He can pull some numbers. We've seen that. But pay-per-view, $74.99? Me personally, with all the fights I've covered throughout the years, this is a fight that it's like, okay, I like this pay-per-view. And we're hearing that they're going to stack up the undercard too. Possibly Chris Colbert versus Rayo. That is true. There wasn't no... See, here's the thing. Arm says there was no internet back with HBO. I get what you're saying. That's the argument. That, people were able to, not streaming and able to stream. Oh, wait, they got a promo.
Nice to get here. Anybody standing in the way, that is going to be personal for me.
Another body shot now. Huge left. Puts the round down. One punch. Good night.
I don't trust that music. but just overall the product that we've been getting from boxing has been too many pay-per-views up. It's time to start. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy, and on all of your listening platforms for the Fight View 360 Boxing Podcast.
This is the official kickoff press conference for Benavidez versus Plant. I'm Brian Custer, the host of Showtime Championship Boxing. March 25th, Showtime pay-per-view. We finally get one of the fights that boxing fans have been demanding for quite some time, and one of the most significant fights of the year. Listen, it's a grudge match that goes back well over 5 years. You know, and sometimes in this business we use hyperbole to describe, hype a fight up. We call it bad blood. Two fighters can't stand each other. I think it's really only appropriate that we're here in Los Angeles, Hollywood, because not even Hollywood can script the hostility between both of these fighters. There is no hyperbole here for this fight. The animus between these two guys is real. And let's be honest, when you have that kind of hostility, it can produce iconic, great fights. I'm talking Ali Frazier. I'm talking Sugar Ray Robinson, Jake LaMotta, Leonard Duran, recently, Fury, Wilder. But more importantly, Benavidez versus Plant is a marquee matchup. It is a true test of both fighters at the very elite level. And with Canelo trying to hold on to all four of them belts, without a doubt, this is the very best fight that can be made right now at 168 pounds. And it all comes your way Saturday, March 25th, in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and on the undisputed King of Boxing, Showtime pay-per-view. The broadcast will begin at 9 p.m. Eastern, at 6 o'clock Pacific time. The fight is being brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions. It's being produced and distributed by Showtime Pay-Per-View, and it's being promoted by TGB Promotions and Sampson Boxing. I know what you want to know. Tickets on sale, and you can get your tickets now at AXS.com. I would get them now, get them early, because they're selling. AXS.com. Let me introduce one of the promoters of this fight. He's the president of TGB Promotions, Mr. Tom Brown.
Who decided to hire that menacing ass security in the back?
Welcome, everyone. People like to say the big fights never get made. That's just not true with PBC and Showtime. This is the type of fight that makes this sport the greatest sport in the world. Saturday, March 25th is going to be an incredible night. This is what we're all in the game for fights like this, for wars like this to get made. There's nothing more exciting than seeing two fighters in their prime slugging it out. And that's what this is all about. We all remember the great fights. Brian mentioned some of them, of the past that we just loved watching, the Diego Corrales, Castillos, the Gotti Wards, and so many other just classic brawls that left us wanting for more. And I believe that this fight between Caleb Plant and David Benavidez will be added to that list of epic brawls between two warriors taking things to a whole nother level. This fight will be a candidate for Fight of the Year, if not the Fight of the Year in 2023. This is a fight you don't want to miss. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Let me bring to the podium now one of the men who was certainly very instrumental in bringing this mega fight to fruition. He's the president of sports, event programming for Showtime Network, Mr. Steven Espinoza.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate Brian coming cross country. He's one of the busiest men in sports television nowadays. You can see him on just about every network, but we're thrilled that he's been a part of Showtime Championship Boxing for so long. I'm going to be brief. As Brian said, you can usually tell the quality of a fight because it's inversely proportional to the amount of hype and hyperbole that people say. The harder people try to convince you that it's an excellent fight, the more likely it's not. Well, I'm not going to try and convince you anything, because if you know anything about boxing, you know this is one of the very best fights that can be made in the sport. The consensus number 1 and number 2 contenders in this division, this is a high-stakes matchup, personally and professionally. There's a personal rivalry here. There is bragging rights here. There is supremacy in the division at stake. As Brian mentioned, the pay-per-view will be distributed by Showtime Pay-Per-View, start time of 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. There will be an all-access, of course. The Emmy Award-winning series will premiere on March 10th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Just a couple of words about these two fighters. David Benavidez, called the Mexican Monster by none other than Mike Tyson. Some of the fastest hands in the heavier divisions and in the sport overall. This will be the 8th time he's fought on Showtime, and he's grown up on Showtime. He first caught our eye on SHOBox way back in 2015. Since then, he's fought on special editions, he's fought on championship boxing, and this will be his first appearance on a pay-per-view. He's been on the stage so long that it's easy to forget that he's only 26 years old. He's the youngest ever champion at 168 pounds at the tender age of 20 years old. And he is one of the most entertaining fighters in all the sport. As for Caleb, this will be his 3rd appearance on Showtime, his 2nd on Showtime pay-per-view. He is an excellent boxer, fundamentally solid, underrated power. He's coming off what, for many people, including CBS Sports and boxing scene, ranked as the 2022 knockout of the year. Highlight reel knockout of Anthony Durrell, a very durable Anthony Durrell. And if you have any doubts about Caleb Plant's power, go back and watch that highlight, and you won't. The last time Caleb fought on Showtime pay-per-view was a grueling 11-round fight against Canelo Alvarez. And there are many people who thought that he provided a blueprint. You know, the jab, the movement, frustrating Canelo in a way we haven't seen him frustrated very long. And it's that combination of skills and power that makes him a worthy adversary for David Benavidez. You know, as Tom says, and I've spoken about this before, it seems like many times in this sport, people want to pay more attention to the fights that don't get made than the fights that do. Well, this is an outstanding fight. And more importantly, neither one of these two fighters had to take it. This is not a mandatory, it's not an eliminator, it's not something that anyone had to be talked into. This is something that each of these two fighters wanted personally and professionally. And again, boxing got it right, as it often does. We'll see you March 25th. Thank you.
Thank you, Steven. No bigger proponent and fan of the sport than Steven Espinoza, of course, the president.
Will Caleb Plant take a cocaine shot at David Benavidez?
To put on fights like this, it's going to be a great year.
High chance that Caleb Plant's going to get sassy.
Talk about the fight with both of these guys. These guys are both former champions. Talk with their team. Before we get into that, I want to acknowledge a couple of members who are here in the audience as well, and key members of the fight camp. I want to start with Richie Plant. I saw Richie, who is not only Caleb's father, his co-trainer. Richie Plant, if you could, just wave your hand for us. There he is. Here he is. Larry Wade, I saw Larry as well. Caleb's strength and conditioning coach. There he is. Good to see you, Larry. So I wanted to acknowledge those guys. Let's talk to the people up here on the podium and dive into this fight. I want to bring to the podium as well, give us a statement. He is the trainer right now, head trainer of Caleb Plant, comes out of Philly. This guy was the trainer of the former unified champion of the world. He's known as Bread Man, Stephen Edwards.
How you guys doing today? Privileged to be in this spot. Get to showcase our hard work against a great fighter in David Benavidez. I feel like I got a great fighter in Caleb Plant. I'm just ecstatic to show what we've been working on March 25th. You know, everybody's talking about bad blood between Caleb and David, but you know, at the end of the day, these kids got to fight on March the 25th. So all of the bad blood, it really don't matter because they can settle it, you know, in about 7 weeks. And at the top level of boxing, we kind of all need each other to make money. You know, if we don't take these fights, we can't provide a certain kind of lifestyle for our family. So, you know,
That ain't me. They done cut out on my main speech.
we already been in camp for a couple of
There we go.
and I just can't wait to go. I don't have much to say. Thank you, guys.
The camera's shitty. The microphone's all fucked up.
Thank you, Bread Man. Now to the Benavidez side of it. Bring here to the podium. This man, he's also the trainer.
Those security guards are taking me out.
David Benavidez, and most importantly, his father, Jose Benavidez Sr.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here. I want to thank all the fans, the media, Sampson, our promoter, Picasso, also TGB, Al Heyman for this big opportunity. I'm just telling you guys, you know, this fight is going to be a good fight. You guys got to get your pay-per-view fight. Also, before I forget, I want to thank my team. We brought Memo Heredia to the team, my assistant coaches, Javi, Poncho, because I can't keep up with the Mexican monster. Getting two
You
hits,
know who Memo Heredia is, right?
you know, and I have like about 4 assistants. I guarantee you guys are going to have a good fight, an exciting fight, May 25th. Don't miss it. Buy your pay-per-views because, guys, we're going to fuck this guy up. We're going to send him to a hospital.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
I guarantee you it's going to be some steroid shots being taken at Benavidez.
Right. All right. Let me introduce the fighters. That's what y'all came here to see. Coming to the podium
It's about to get
is a man who, you know, if you heard Stephen describe him, sublime boxer. But don't let the smooth taste fool you now. He's got some pop. You can ask Jose Uzcategui. You can also ask Anthony Durrell. CBS Sports, boxing scene, knockout of the year. Just 30 years old, 22-1. He's got 13 knockouts. Of course, coming from the Ville, Nashville, but now living out of Las Vegas. He's known as Sweet Hands.
My man said Viscera.
Sweet Hands Plant.
Viscera been dead. King Mabel been dead like 10 years now, right? Damn. Here we go.
What's going on, everybody? Want to thank Al Heyman, Luis de Cubas, my manager. Want to thank Steven Espinoza and Showtime. Thank everybody for coming out today. And we got a big fight on our hands. But that's good. That's what boxing needs, is big fights. And I want to be someone to help deliver that to the boxing world. I'm sure he does too. You know, coming off of an 11-month layoff after the Canelo fight, I could have chose somebody to get in the ring with that no one knew, some nobody, just some sparring session of a match. But, you know, I told my team I want to make the biggest fight possible. And that may not be the biggest fight out there, but give me the biggest fight possible. They came back to me with two-time former world champ Anthony Durrell, and he was ranked high enough in the WBC to make that a 12-round, a WBC title eliminator. And you being the interim champ and that being a title eliminator means I fight him. That means we get it on next, right?
You were pressured. You didn't want to fight.
Yes.
That's why you got all those fucking demands.
Huh?
You got fucking pressure.
Who-
You didn't
who?
want to fight. What did you ask for? 22-foot boxing ring, rival gloves,
No,
blue
I didn't
corner. You want to come
I
as
didn't
the champion?
ask for
Who's the
rival
champion?
gloves. I didn't
David, the
I didn't ask
Mexican
for
monster, is
rival
the
gloves.
champion. You want to come out as the champion.
Yeah. David
Vamos.
said, let me talk.
You
So
a bitch.
being a 12-round, a title eliminator, that means I know I'm next in line to fight for the interim champ, which is David. And so going into the Durrell fight, I knew what was happening next. I knew the plan. And so, the narrative of me being pressured or bullied or cornered into, having to fight him, it's not the case. I knew going in, hey, 12-round title eliminator, that means interim belt next. And, the winner of this fight becomes Canelo's mandatory for the WBC world title. So I'm exactly where I want to be. I'm in the fight that I want. In 2017 when David beat Ronald Graville, I was waiting, right at the bottom of the stairs saying, hey, let's make it happen. Let's do it. In 2019, I win a world title. 2020, me and my team, we reach out to Sampson and say, hey, would you guys like to make something happen? He said, no, it's not time yet. We need to let that fight marinate. We need to let it, stay on the shelf for a minute, build it up, whatever. I don't know his intentions. So I go off on my mandatories. In the meantime, he loses his belt for a second time. And then all of a sudden, they're like, hey, let's fight. Well, I got the Canelo fight on the line now. So why would I toss that away to fight you? I don't know if you're going to show up on weight. I don't know if you're going to, I don't know what's going to happen. So why would I throw that chance away to fight for Undisputed, to fight a future Hall of Famer, to fight someone, one of the biggest fights in boxing? That's why we're in this, right? To have the biggest fights. So that's the fight I took, the Canelo fight. And March 25th, you ain't got to worry about me pulling out.
Show up.
I'm going to show up.
Take care of those fragile hands.
Yeah.
Okay, show up.
Because remember, this ain't my first big fight.
We want to see you.
This ain't my first one.
up.
I've been here
Show
before,
up.
and
Show
I've done
up.
it.
Show up.
And when I show up on weight, and I don't test positive for cocaine neither. So don't worry about me
Been knocked
showing
the
up.
fuck out already, but Canelo put you
Don't-
to sleep. That's
don't-
exactly what I'm gonna do to you too.
Hey,
Well,
at the,
you're fucking
at the highest level,
at
great
the
fighters
highest level,
fight
you
great
still
fighters.
hit like a bitch. You got 13 fucking knockouts
Say
already.
what?
Fucking fight. You hit like a little bitch.
Ask Anthony
Well,
Durrell.
what
What I do
you
to
do
Anthony
something?
Durrell?
You do something?
Let him finish. It's all right.
Chill out.
Let him finish.
Told you a cocaine shot was coming.
You ain't gonna do nothing.
Finish what you
Sweet nose
Yeah,
clams.
you're scared. Look at you.
There's
You're
a lot
scared.
of tough guy, rah stuff.
Yeah,
even
this fucking guys,
he
he fucking looks like he's about to cry. Look at his fucking eyes. I know a pussy when I see one.
yeah. Even his dad, senior, he calls all types of fighters bitches and pussies. And
I respect
you know,
everybody.
you-
You're a bitch.
you-
I
you
respect
may-
everybody.
You may, you may hear banter between fighters. You may even hear a fighter say something like, "I've never lost to a white boy, and I'm not about to start now."
Who the fuck said
We-
that? When did I
Anthony
fucking
Durrell?
say that?
I-
Am I
I'm not-
Anthony Durrell?
I'm not talking
Am
about
I
you.
Anthony Durrell? So don't bring that up. Like if I'm the one saying that shit too.
I didn't say you said that.
Finish what the fuck you gotta say.
Then
shut the
Nose
fuck up
clams.
and
quit
What
interrupting.
you
Oh, testing.
you fucking crazy? What you want to do?
Go ahead and finish.
What you want to do? Yeah, we could have got outside.
You think he's on the nose clams?
You fucking pussy. You had all these fucking people with you.
This dude ain't scared.
You ain't serious. That's what, man.
He,
All right.
he's so mad.
So mad. I'm about to beat the fuck
He's
out
so
of
mad.
you.
You're not gonna do
I'm
nothing.
about to beat the fuck out this pussy right here.
So, anyways,
That's why guys don't have no fucking
you hear
mouth.
Jose
You guys
Senior.
are
He
talking
calls fighters
low
bitches and
fucking
pussies,
shit.
and you may hear that between fighters, but you don't normally hear boxing coaches talking like that. And the reason you don't really hear that is because a lot of boxing
I
trainers,
think you should hurry up.
they've been in the ring.
You gotta go run, brother.
They've been in the
You gotta
ring.
go
They
run.
fought before.
Go exercise so you can
but
run.
you've never
They're
fought.
gonna close the fucking track.
You've never made that walk. You never had to lace up a pair of gloves to feed
You're
your
a
family.
bitch.
You don't know what it's
You're
like.
a bitch.
So
Sit
it's
down.
easy for you to toss those
You're a
words around
bitch.
because you've never had to do it.
You're a bitch.
You never had to do
You're
it.
scared. Look at you. You want to cry.
Yeah, I want to cry. So anyways, March 25th, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in shape. I'm going to be on weight. I ain't going to be on cocaine. And I'm going to whoop his ass.
Just show up.
Oh, that's two cocaine shots.
Thank you, Caleb.
2 cocaine shots.
Should have brought your glasses so we could slap you in the face.
Gotta stay off those nose clams.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why you whispering? Talk to me like a fucking man. Pussy.
All right,
I
now.
never did cocaine. I don't
Coming
even like
to
when
the
water
podium.
get in my nose. How do people do cocaine? Does it sting?
They're fine. Coming to the podium. Unbeaten. He's 26-0, 23 knockouts. He is the former two-time WBC super middleweight champion of the world.
I did mushrooms. I did LSD,
Mexican monster.
weed,
He is David Benavidez.
Percocets.
First of all, I want to thank God because without him, none of this is possible. Secondly, I want to thank Al Heyman, Sampson Lukowicz, Lisa Kubas, my father, Jose Benavidez, and David Garcia. This has been a fight in the making for the past 5 years, and I couldn't have come at a better time. I'm at my best right now, mentally and physically. There's been a lot of shit talking going back and forth, but on March 25th, I get to put hands on Caleb Plant. And trust me when I say I'm going to beat the fucking living shit out of you, pussy. I'm going to beat the living shit out you. Yo, yeah, and then when you're in the fucking ground bleeding from your fucking mouth, you're going to realize how to respect a real fucking monster. That's real. What? I'm scared because I'm fucking...
David, leave him alone. He's about to cry.
This dude, man, he has 13 knockouts. He thinks just because he knocked fucking Anthony Durrell out, that's supposed to mean something to me. I beat the shit out of Anthony Durrell when I was 23 years old. I was champion before you. I got 3 fucking belts right now. Man, I'm what you want to fucking be. You a fucking chump. You ain't nothing. And watch, March 25th, mark my words, I'm going to put this motherfucker in the hospital.
Oh, shit.
Right.
Ooh. The classic Mexican,
All right, guys, let's get in.
African-American
Let's just talk about the
rivalry.
fight here. David, I'll come to you first. Significant fight in this weight division. Tell us, from your perspective, how did this fight get made?
I want to cuss now.
Because we've been waiting for so long.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this fight, it happened at the right time. He had a sensational win with Anthony Durrell. I take nothing away from that. And I feel like it was a right move to make for both of us. We both needed a step up in class. I've been wanting to fight him for a long, long time. And then now they made the winner of this fight the mandatory for Canelo. So it couldn't come at a better time. I'm super motivated right now. I'm pumped and I can't wait.
Caleb, you kind of gave us a good timeline. And we hear, and look, we see. It's not like, look, Stephen Wonder can see you guys don't like each other. But I think the question I think most boxing fans want to know, when did the bad blood start? How did it start?
Well, I think, just natural. David's obviously one of the top in the division. I'm obviously one of the top in the division. And, just agreeing to disagree on who's better, I believe is how it started. He thinks he's better than me, and that's fine. He should feel like that. What great fighter doesn't feel like he's the best? And, I feel the same way. Then it slowly just starts to build over time. And, when it kind of became more than just regular fighter-to-fighter banter, going back and forth is when, he started bringing up, my daughter Aaliyah's name and Senior I'm talking about. And, even like liking pictures of social media, me and my daughter Aaliyah in the hospital bed, just different things like that. And once it got to that, it was like past, oh, I'm better than you, or, you can't beat me, I'll beat you up. Once you start bringing someone's kids into it and, people's wives or anything like that, to me, that's past the point of return.
Just to get that clear, you got to check out. You got to go check the internet about your life. I didn't make that shit up, man. I got respect for your daughter. I have kids. You got to stop that shit, bro. Check out his story life, and you'll see what he's talking about. I didn't make that shit up.
I did. I checked
David,
it out.
We've heard you, obviously up here saying what you were going to do. You were quoted in the boxing scene by saying, quote, I'm going to break his effing mouth, and I guarantee you I am going to knock him out. But you also told E! News, Ellie Setback, quote, I'm going to give him the worst beating he's ever had, and his corner is going to have to stop the fight. And I'm going to enjoy watching him quit on the stool like a bee. So I guess which one is it? Are you going to knock him out?
When I did that interview with Ellie, it was 2 weeks ago. Now, I wake up feeling different every day. But I feel like, for me, what the fans want to see, they want to go in there and they want to see a knockout. And he could try to act like I'm not like that. But look at my record, 26-0, 23 knockouts. look at everybody how they look after I fight them. They're beat the fuck up. His partner in training. And I don't want to be a dick either because I love Kyron and Davis, but you know, I don't when I get up in here, I don't play around. They know what I am. I'm the Mexican monster, and this is exactly what I do. And he's no fucking different. He's no different from any other fighter I fought. So he's going to see March 25th.
Caleb, you guys have certainly had back and forth on social media. And you said, quote, there are wolves and there are sheep. And if you don't know which one you are, then you aren't a wolf. Explain to us what you were talking about when you said that to David.
No. That's not what I said to David. That was just, you know, a caption on an Instagram post of me on it. That had nothing to do with David. That's just for life in general, you know. In life, if you want to succeed, you got to be a wolf. And there's a wolf and there's sheep. And if you don't know which one you are, then you probably aren't a wolf. So,
David he's repeated a number of things that, you know, Jose Uzcategui, I remember him saying about you. Anthony Durrell said the same thing about you, that, look, all this guy's going to do is run around the ring.
I'm not Uzcategui, and I'm not Anthony Durrell either.
You knocked Uzcategui down a couple of times. We saw what you did to Anthony Durrell. What does David Benavidez need to know about Caleb Plant and the power he has in his hands on March 25th?
Just, you know, March 25th, I'm coming. I'm going to be fully prepared. And I've been at this level before. I've done this before. And I know what it takes. And so, you know, from now till March 25th, it's really just about who can train the hardest from now till then and who can keep their foot on the gas without taking it off during camp.
Hey, but he know how the canvas feel, too, so I'm going to put him back on that motherfucker.
What do you say?
Another
So
cocaine.
you don't know how the canvas feels. You ain't been
Reference.
laid out before.
Canvas.
The canvas. Now you don't fucking understand or what?
I mean, I don't know. I can't understand what you're saying. The canvas. What about it?
You're going to be laying down.
Okay.
You've been on the fucking floor already, so I'm going to put you
And
back
you've been on the
floor.
canvas too. You got dropped by Ronald Graville.
I didn't get fucking put to sleep like you.
I wouldn't put to sleep. I got
like
back
you.
up.
You got knocked the fuck out in
I
front
got
of
back
everybody.
up. Hey, I got back
You're
up.
talking about you don't know if you're a fucking wolf or a sheep, motherfucker. You've been on the floor. You a sheep.
No,
so
I'm
what are you
not a
talking
sheep.
about? You ain't no fucking wolf.
Sheep don't get to sit
You
up here.
a fucking sheep, bro.
Sheep don't get to
Man,
sit
you
up
a-
here.
One of the things.
That motherfucker's so hurt, he thinks he won that fight with
And
him.
you aren't a
Hold
sheep.
on, Jose.
Hey, David, and you aren't a sheep either. I don't think you're a sheep.
One of the things
Sheep
that
don't get to sit up here on the stage. I know you're a wolf. I'm a wolf too. And yeah, you've touched the canvas. I touched the canvas. I know
No,
I got
bitch,
stopped,
now.
but I got right
You
back
got
up.
knocked out.
And I wanted to continue, but hey, you know, the ref did his job. It was a good stoppage. And, you know, I tip my hat to Canelo.
got
He's a great
stopped.
fighter, but
one of the things
that's
that
not no knock on me.
one of the
gotta
things
stop.
that Jose talked about, and you can address this too, Caleb, is, you know, he said, listen, Caleb Plant wanted a bigger ring. We've agreed to give him a bigger ring. Tell us why, if that's true.
Well, yeah, you know, after the fight with Durrell, I knew that it was time to move forward and make the fight with David. And if, you know, we couldn't get that done, I was trying to step to Charlo and see if we could make that happen as well. Luis
does that have
said,
to
what
do
would
with
it
the bigger ring?
take?
What does that have to do with the bigger ring? What does you trying to fight Charlo have to do with
Yeah, I
you
know. I'm
requesting
getting
a
to
bigger
it.
ring?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
How about if I would have
And,
said no to a blue corner? You know,
and,
I said yes to everything. They're like asking, saying,
these guys
hey, you can
are
ask
just
David.
like
I said,
Durrell.
no,
It's
fucking David
crazy.
doesn't give a fuck. He'll take whatever. He just wants to get you in the fight, on the ring.
Got it. Go ahead. Answer it.
Okay. And, you know, he said, what would it take to make that fight happen? I gave him a list of some things that I thought that, you know, I wanted to have. And within like a day or two, he came back and he said, done deal. And, you know, even from Jose Sr.'s side and David's side, he said as soon as they came to him with those negotiations, he just immediately, you know, said yes to everything because he thought I was giving, you know, trying to get out of something or something like that. But, you know, if you're going to, as soon as they bring something to you, just say yes to everything. That's not really a negotiating tactic. So
You got pressure.
it's
You
not
got
my problem
pressure
that
to
you
take that
said,
fight.
it's not my problem that you said yeah to everything as soon as they brought it to you. And, you know, I said, hey, what about a 22 by 22 foot ring? What about it being in Las Vegas? As far as the rival gloves, you wear rival gloves every fight.
What about if I would have said no to
So
blue
I
corner?
had no request for you to wear a certain glove, or I'm wearing Grants. So if I had a request, I would make you wear the same gloves as me. I wouldn't make you wear different gloves than me. So that don't make no sense. So as far as the gloves, I ain't got no idea about that. My contract says a glove of your choice.
David, how important is this fight to this weight division and to the sport in general?
This is the most important fight of my career to this day. I feel like after this fight, I'm gonna just pass that threshold and get to where I wanted to be. The goal I had for myself when I was a little kid, when I said I wanted a pay-per-view star, that's what's gonna happen after this fight. And I feel like every fighter has one of these fights, one of the grudge matches that really brings the best out of them. And I know I don't like Caleb Plant at all, but I want to thank him too for bringing this animal out of me, because this is the hardest I've ever worked. I've been training like a fucking animal, and I'm very excited, and I'm happy to show. I'm gonna be happy to show the people and give all my fans a good knockout, because this is gonna be a hell of a fight. It's not gonna be easy, but we're definitely gonna go in and we're gonna get the knockout.
And I know you've been training, because obviously for the Katagi fight, at one point you were going to fight him. Any fear of overtraining? Because you've been in camp for a long time, it seems like.
Well, you have to. I mean, if you're a professional boxer, this is my profession. I mean, I don't put a lot of stuff on Instagram, but I'm always training. I only take 3 weeks after my fight, and I train. You know, as a fighter, I've been professional 10 years. You have to know when to push it up and when to pull it down. You know what I mean? So I mean, there's no fear of overtraining at all.
Do you believe? And I know that has come out. Do you believe Caleb's been spying on your camp?
He's been looking at my guy's fucking Daniel Blanca's his dad's story. He looks at my videographer Jeremy's story, and then his photographer started following them. So I mean, if we're gonna fight each other, I'm not gonna go look at his stuff. Why am I gonna look at his stuff?
I want to hear about cocaine.
I'll ask you the same questions. Ask him. How important is this fight to the 168-pound division and to the sport?
It's super important. You know, me and David have both been at the top of the division for, some time now. And, the time and now, kind of how he said, perfect timing. And I also think it's important for the sport in general to let these other guys know, don't be scared to let it all hang out. Big fights is what boxing's about. And, it's about legacy. And this is a legacy fight for me and my team. And that's going to lead us to bigger and better things. So, I couldn't be more excited.
Lastly, we'll wrap it up with this. Caleb, we'll start with you. In Las Vegas, Showtime pay-per-view.
Why Custer's so
all
nervous?
the people who will pay their hard-earned money, buy tickets, buy the fight, what can you guarantee that they're going to get on March 25th when you step in the ring with David Benavidez?
Anybody going to see
They're
Cocaine
going to
Bear?
get a hell of a fight. I mean, again, I've never said David's a bad fighter. I don't think he's a bad fighter. I'm not interested in fighting bad fighters. I want to fight good fighters. I want to make big fights happen. And this is the biggest fight in the division that can be made. So I'm excited to do that March 25th. I see myself getting my hand raised.
David, you get the final word. For all those people coming out to the MGM Grand Garden Arena, paying their hard-earned money to Showtime pay-per-view to watch this fight, what can you guarantee they're going to get on March 25th?
March 25th, I guarantee you I'm going to knock Caleb Plant out before round 6. Guaranteed.
There you have it, folks. It is one of the most significant fights of the year. It goes down on Showtime pay-per-view March 25th, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time from the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Get your tickets now for David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, 2 former world champions going at it at 168 pounds. Guys, if you would, you could just have a stand right there. You can stand right there, and we'll just...
Why they got to make that...
Face there. Face those cameras. That's it. Just face the cameras, and we'll...
Bullshit, no
so
face
we can get
off.
a good picture here. That's it. It's what people want to see.
Bullshit ass
David
security.
Benavidez, Caleb Plant, the 2 top guys at 168 pounds on Showtime pay-per-view, March 25th, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you for watching. We'll see you March 25th in Las Vegas and on Showtime pay-per-view.
Yeah, anybody going to go see Cocaine Bear? I want to see that joint. So, yeah, how do you feel about the fight? Showtime pay-per-view. I'm thinking about 150,000 pay-per-view buys, give or take. It's a damn shame that, about 4 or 5 years ago, this would have been regular Showtime. You know, now everything got to be pay-per-view. It's because how much money these fighters make. By the way, how do you guys feel about the rumors? Not rumors, because it basically Showtime Boxing may not be around, may not in the capacity that we know of, like as we know today. They may be still doing pay-per-views, but then again, that might even get cut. You know? Showtime and Paramount Plus, they are integrating basically both of their platforms. Showtime platform is going to be supposedly called Paramount Plus with Showtime. It's some old bullshit like that. But boxing ratings have been in a dump. Pay-per-view, you know, and this is not because of streaming, legal streaming, mostly because of illegal streaming. You know, especially in an era of where you can watch a lot of this shit for free. And the younger demographics, they not paying for nothing. So they know how to watch it on the Fire Sticks and, you know, be able to cast it to their TV. And these streams these days are high definition and crisp. Did you notice that PBC's schedule, you know, to start off this year is very aggressive? We're hearing about some really, really, really good fights. And is it because they have to? Even David Benavidez was hinting that Plant was forced into this fight or pressured. You got guys on long layoffs. There's not enough dates to go around. You know, we don't know what's going on with PBC on Fox. They may be fully done. Adrian Broner's been spilling the beans. Bernard Hopkins did a very interesting interview with Fight Hub. You know, the writing's all on the wall. You know, they need another network. They need another network. Chris Colbert, Joey Spencer, Brenda Figueroa versus Mark Maxeyo. Stephen Fulton traveling to Japan. PBC, Al Heyman fighters don't normally travel in that capacity. You know, some things are definitely going on behind the scenes. Now, I'm not going to be one of the doom and gloom guys that's going to say, oh, well, yeah, they're going to go out of business and all that. Nah, but some shit's got to change. It's clear. It's clear as day. Errol Spence fighting Keith Thurman, despite him saying he would never fight him. For example, let's go look at some of the fights that are on the docket so far. Just PBC fights that's supposed to be happening. Shocky Foster versus Ray Vargas, that's a good fight. Mario Barrios, former pay-per-view fighters on the undercard. That is February the 11th, Showtime. And they're stacking these cards too. Let's see, other PBC cards. What's the next one? March, right? Beginning of March. February 25th, Sabril Matias, Jeremias Ponce. Jamal James returns. Elvis Rodriguez versus Joseph Adorno. Mayweather's fighting all these exhibitions. That's weird. Let's see, what's the next Showtime card? Brenda Figueroa versus Mark Maxeyo, March 4th. Jarrett Hurt returns. Let's see what else we got going on the PBC side. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. I forgot the other Chris Colbert. Who's Joey Spencer rumored to be fighting? Let me check real quick. Jesus Rodriguez, right? You got a possible Rayo Chris Colbert fight. I forgot what card they're talking about that being on. You know, what you're seeing, like, we're hearing a lot of good fights, but also there's still going to be a lot of inactive fighters. For example, we don't know what's going on with Jamal Charlo. You know, word on the curb. But then again, I heard that a long time ago, like well over a year ago, that he was having some issues, you know, outside of boxing. I remember there was that time when I believe it was his wife, not just one of his children, but his wife was talking about that his big estate was going to get evicted, like he was going to get like kicked out of his crib. And you got to think he's not fighting. And these are guys, you know, and also there's been rumors circulating around that he's been trying to, now listen, there's been rumors circulating around that Charlo's been trying to get away from PBC. Jamal Charlo, meaning. You know, we don't know if that has anything to do with the many fights he had to turn down over the years. You know, being loyal to Al Heyman, but you got to think he hasn't fought. So pockets got to be light. You know, you still got to get paid. So it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, like what the plan is for PBC. You know, Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. That's when things really, really went downhill. I mean, put it this way, not downhill, but Keith Thurman was not supposed to lose to Manny Pacquiao. And Deontay Wilder was not supposed to lose to Tyson Fury. Like those two right there really, really put PBC in a bad place. And you have to think, that if Spence was to lose to Crawford, you know, that's just my theory. I have my own theories why PBC don't want or in no type of rush to make Spence versus Crawford for multiple reasons. So like I said, I'm not going to be here all with the doom and gloom, you know, of all PBC is going out of business, all that shit. But one thing for sure is there's some questions. There's definitely some questions. But let me give my prediction on this fight, Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. I'm going with David Benavidez. I like Caleb Plant. He's got the bigger ring, you know, but I think that David Benavidez is going to cut off the ring and eventually catch him. He's going to have to do a lot of boxing. And don't get me wrong, I give him credit for beating Anthony Durrell. I do. But Anthony Durrell is no David Benavidez. And if Caleb Plant does win, then, you know, like, shout out to him. But right now, you know, it's safe to say that David Benavidez is the favorite, right? Let's just hope that he makes weight and he doesn't get caught, you know, for sweet nose clams, cocaine. Let me see what the rumors are for the undercard. Let me see. I forgot the fights. Let me see. Yeah, you could have Chris Colbert versus Jose Rayo Valenzuela. That's a very interesting fight. Maybe they can throw Demetrius Andrade in on another walk-on bout, pretty much, you know, to build him up. Like, it's so many boxers. Like, what are they going to do with all these fighters? You know, even Tony Harrison is going to be fighting Tim Tszyu over in Australia. You don't see PBC fighters travel like this. You know, we can't act like this is not. But then again, I don't want to get involved in that because before I know it, people are going to be like, you always been a PBC hater and all that. It's just tiring. I just want to see the fights. I just want to see the fights. My dream results. Thurman KO Spence. Spence is forced to fight Boots. Thurman fights Bud. Boots KO Spence. Bud KO Thurman. The finale Boots Bud ultimate match. Okay, it's pretty crazy. So with that being said, it's going to be on a Showtime pay-per-view March the 25th. Of course, likely $74.99, $75. Do you feel it's a pay-per-view fight? I don't feel it's going to be a super successful event. I think they may meet their number depending on whatever their pay-per-view number is. I would be shocked if this fight does 200,000. That's like Tank Davis numbers. To be and if you didn't hear, Wilder versus Helenius flopped big time. So this one has more appeal, obviously, than Wilder Helenius. Caleb Plant is already sitting on a pay-per-view buy event where he got 800,000 with Canelo, even though that was partially Canelo, and he's got some really, really solid ratings on free TV Fox. So Benavidez, don't get me wrong, you know, he'll get the Mexican support, you know, and you know, us Mexicans, we always support each other. But I'm not confident this fight does 150,000 pay-per-view buys, which would be a lot for them. Wilder's numbers were rumored to be like just under 100,000. I believe 116K is what's coming to mind. Something like that. We're going to see, though. With that being said, let me get up out of here. I'm going to chop these videos up, upload them, publish them to the Fight View 360 Boxing Podcast, available on all of your listening platforms, Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, I am going to be here this weekend covering your favorite fights. So it's going to be a busy week. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter @TStreetControversy.